What's up, guys? Good morning. So I finally hit a major milestone, 2,000 subscribers. 2,000 subscribers. So I'm doing something a little special today. I am opening up Vapors.tv for an Ask Me Anything. I've already got people saying congrats, yay. You're going to, as soon as it fills up, you're going to see the chat come in below me. So, I'm going to give you two devices today that I'm going to be vaping on. I'm going old school with this one and new school. So this is the Zero SX 330 with the Goblin Mini. I am rocking Chalk the Mint in it. Chalk the Mint was my first all-day, everyday vape. And then new school, I'm going with the SP Custom Swagger Box with the Mutation X, and I am rocking T-Max No Frills Mills, a blueberry donut in it. So, today's vlog should not be about me. It should be about you, the thousands of people that have subscribed to me, and I am extremely humbled by it. So, I've went ahead, I posted out on Facebook that I would be opening up for an Ask Me Anything. I have a bunch of viewers here, about 70 watching me, and let's get to it. What kind of questions do you got, guys?
Blueberry donut is good.
What do you think of... I'm looking at the wire they asked me about. They can never, start me out on an easy question. So nickel iron alloy, so every nickel wire I've tasted to this point, I haven't liked because I get a tinny taste off of it. So, there you go, Truth Seeker Don. It's probably not going to be for me. I haven't tried it yet, though. Vaporhead asks, how's the water challenge going? I got 14 days into the water challenge, and I disliked what it was doing to me, so I stopped. What do you think about stainless steel wire for coils? And congrats. Well, thank you, Greg G. Stainless steel I don't have as much of a problem with, though oftentimes, with the exception of the crown, I notice I get a lack of flavor there. My favorite e-juice, I have 5 of them listed, but if I had to boil it down to one, it would probably be First Original Gangster by Wacky Vapes. What's my favorite color? My favorite color is blue. How many stupid questions have I asked you in the last month? There is no such thing as a stupid question. Do I like to be on top or on bottom during sex? Neither. I like to be behind. What do you think about Anakin claims of cracking temperature control with Kanthal? I do know that there is a Kanthal temperature control out there already, and there's actually an easy way to do it, so I do believe that Anakin will be able to do it. What's the favorite color of my goatee? Oddly, pink looks the best on me. If you had only one juice, one mod, and one addy to use from here on out, what would they be? It would probably be the Swagger box, a MOSFET box. The addy I would actually honestly probably go with is the original Mutation X Authentic. And as far as juice, First Original Gangster. If I only could vape one thing, that would be it. Do you have to tell the truth if we ask a question? Yes, I will tell you the truth if you ask a question. If you had to choose between parallel and series boxes, which would you pick? I personally like parallel boxes because I'm a high amp vapor, not a high voltage vapor. Did you get the dyed goatee idea from Billy? No, I did not. The whole dyed goatee thing came from Tinker Evil losing a bet with her, honestly, and then I woke up and realized I liked it, so I kept doing it. What is the best Star Wars movie? Return of the Empire?
Or not Return of the Empire, Empire Strikes Back, I mean.
Did I get to try T-Max's secret flavor? Do you like yogurt vapes? No, I did not try his secret flavor. Yogurt vapes are not for me. What's my favorite coil build? A 5-wrap 22. Are you for or against clones if you can't... I am extremely a fence-sitter on the clone issue, but... Sorry, I got a dry hit and I can't stop coughing. If I had to choose one way or another, I'd actually be for clones in the idea of replicas, because without clones, e-cigs would not be available to as many people as they are currently. Did you ever think you would quit smoking? No, I actually had full intentions of going back to smoking. What do you think of advanced coils, like the staggered fuse, the vertebrae, etc.? I think they are more trouble than they are worth. They look beautiful, and I respect the people that can do them, but there's a reason. There's a reason that I choose to stick with my 5-wrap. It's because it's easy. If the FDA said we're banning all e-juices, but you're allowed to pick one, you can continue to vape / buy the first original Gangster by Wacky Vapes. That would be Return of the Jedi, just saying. I meant Empire Strikes Back. I'm sorry, it is 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm a little tired. Aside from pending regs and taxes, what's the one thing in the industry you would change if you could? I would change all the negativity in social media for vapors. Vapors, unfortunately, love to eat their own. We are our own biggest enemy. Ashley C. says, you read my question wrong. I'm going to go back and read it right. What do you think about Inikin's claim at crack and temp control with Kanthal? There's another one that can do it, and I believe that Inikin can do it. Did you ever think... Oh, did I ever think Ashley would quit smoking? No, I didn't. Sorry about that. Where do I see vaping in 5 years? Honestly, in 5 years, I expect to be able to see stuff like this being purchased from gas stations, and we'll have like little small social clubs, kind of like cigar shops now. Oh wow, I got staff coming in for this one. What's the biggest innovation change in the industry since you've started vaping? Since I've started vaping, the thing that has had the most impact on how vapors vape is variable wattage. How did you end up on View Live as one of so many vape famous folk? I ended up on VU Live actually from the inception of it. We split off from Nova Broadcasting. I wound on Nova Broadcasting as where we split off from when Stickcam went down. I wound up on Stickcam, oddly, because of Side Chat. Side Chat on Stickcam, you had little windows on the side of the window you could pop in during a live show. And they were trying out a new host that unfortunately was failing miserably, and I was getting more attention than he did, so they gave me an interview. How did you end up on, or I already asked that, what would you do about world hunger if you are in Miss America? I would do another Cooking with Nitro so they can see how to properly cook ramen noodles and eat well. Do I think temp control is a fad? In its current state of nickel, yes, I do think that temp control is a passing fad. The whole concept of temp control, I do think there is much, much more to come for it when it moves mainstream to Kanthal. Do you think it's acceptable for high-end authentics to have so many issues, the Plume Veil, 2.5, the DNA 40, the Derringer, for people to turn a blind eye, but Chinese companies make the same mistake and they get blasted for it? That's one reason I actually like clones. I do own a lot of authentics, but a lot of times I bought the clone to try it out before trying the authentics. So I do not necessarily agree with just jumping on the bandwagon because it's an authentic for the sake of being an authentic. It's like a car. I test drive it. I try it before I buy it. Boxers, briefs, or commando? The world wants to know. I actually prefer boxer briefs. How popular will our football show be? Probably pretty damn popular since I know nothing about football. My Virgin Kitchen and Cooking with Nitro should team up. Who are your favorite reviewers? Who do you watch and who pisses you off? Honestly, I won't tell them what you said. Well, most of them actually know. The only person I have a major beef with is Rip Trippers, and he's got a lot better about it, but I go to a lot of vape meets, and a lot of times at the vape meets, what I was doing was fixing stuff that Rip Tripper had done a video on and did something I didn't agree with. As far as who are my favorite reviewers, the ones I will watch on a regular are Twisted 420. I will watch P. Basardo, and when Todd was doing his reviews, I'd watch Todd. In the last year, what's the biggest thing, in your opinion, to happen in the vape community? In the last year, the dying off of the tube mod. It used to be when I was in the vape shop, if it wasn't a tube mod, they didn't want it. Everybody was intimidated by boxy-style things. Box-style things are now the more commonplace, which we can give better technology inside of it. Lets us go forward. Will you make it to the first Vape Expo in Laurel, Maryland? Wow, Laurel, Maryland is like where I grew up. Later in the year. I don't know, to be honest with you, Ashley. I will try to make it there, but I don't know. What's your opinion of Vape Famous? Vape Famous is not a real thing. Vape Famous is not a real thing. Just saying, not a real thing. You guys know who I am. Outside of here, nobody knows who I am. Limitless is bringing back tubes down here. Everything in vaping goes in circles, so you will see what was old and out of style come back. Are you going to give me a hug at Mania? If I make it to Mania, there's a huge question on whether I'm going to Mania right now or not. Are tube mods really gone, or are they going to come back around like Swankers? They will come back around. Why does everybody rip on Rip Trippers? It's entertaining and, well, nobody's perfect. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours fixing his mistakes. That's where my beef came from with him. What's the worst lie you ever told? I can't think of one off the top of my head. Probably back when I was a kid, lying to my parents about where I was rather than where I actually was. Do I see tube mods making a return? Yes, I do see that tube mods, the small form factor, would make a return. What's my biggest pet peeve? People that don't take battery safety seriously. Do you do your build videos on Star City Games Magic the Gathering play mat? Yes, it's a top 8 open qualifier mat. Does it bother me when people ask me the same question more than once? More than once, no. On the 60th or 70th time, yes. P. Basardo videos are too long, 90 minutes on the DNA 40, etc. That is part of the reason I started my reviews. No beef against P. Basardo, but I'm allergic to apples, and I sat through an hour-long video where he was doing 5 juice reviews for 1 cola and 4 apples. And I went, there's got to be a better way, so that's why I generally do very short videos. What is my biggest regret in life? A choice I made about 1 year ago. How do I feel about vape shops selling products to minors? I actually am not in favor of selling vapor products to minors. So I am very adamantly against minors buying vapor products. Do you feel that people should have a strong work knowledge of mods before they are sold anything beyond an ego or similar device? Yes, I do believe that anybody can be taught the basics in under 5 minutes. If you're a brick and mortar and you're not teaching those basics, I feel that you're not doing your job properly. How low ohms will you build on a single 18650 mod? The lowest I've ever fired in a single 18650, and I do not recommend this, I did it in a test environment, was a .004. If you could make anything in the vape world end, what would it be? The thing I would make end is how we attack our own people. The beef between Vapors TV and Reddit, the beef between, we would all just hold hands and sing Kumbaya. I would take all of the internal strife we have in the vaping community and make it go away. Do you think brick and mortars give people starting vaping good advice? Some brick and mortars do actually give great advice, some don't. What can vapors do to improve the community? And I missed the question here. I'll come back here. Bear with me. Default says, for fuck's sake. What can vapors do to improve the community? We can work together and stop fighting with each other. Similar areas, what about RBAs? They should definitely, I feel if you're selling an RBA, you should sit down with them and teach them how to do a standard 6 or 7 wrap coil. Okay? What would you like to see new in vaping? I would like to see a batteryless mod, a sheerly kinetic mod. Can vaping be banned, or is it just going to go underground? If so, it will go underground because everything we use is not designed for vaping. Everything in my hand right now comes from some other industry. Have you ever used your YouTube Vapors TV role to get into events, etc.? We get asked to go to events, so that would technically be yes. Have I went, dude, I gotta get in because I'm Vapors TV? No. But have we had people go, hey, can you broadcast our event for us? We'll comp your ticket? Yes. The farthest I've got is a comp ticket. I don't get paid to fly out. To this point, I have not got, free room and board because of it. We get a free ticket into the event. Do you stick batteries up your arse? No, I don't. Follow up to Big Jig's question. Do you see batteryless mods as a possibility? Yes, I actually am working on a design for one. I toiled with capacitor ran mods, and I was not successful doing a capacitor ran mod. What's the biggest show you've been on? In vaping, the largest show I've been on is the 2-year Mod Envy anniversary show. Outside of that, the largest television show I've been on is something called It's Academic. Would you like to see mods that could plug in? The only problem would be portability. There are currently mods that do plug in. I'm not in favor of them, as the portability is kind of not there. What about parallel capacitors and battery? The conditioning of the signal on like a pulse width modulation, that capacitor works. As far as like mechanical capacitors, I tried it. It hasn't worked yet. Is it something that could work in the future? Yes. Is it something that we have the way of doing it right now? No. What's your say on rigged shows on Vapors TV? As the person that types /random in, I can tell you they're not rigged. Like, literally we type /random and that's how it gets pulled. I wish we could rig it because I would rather see some of the products that we give away go to other people than what get it. For example, back when we were giving away newbie kits, there were a lot of people that were experienced vapors that wound up with newbie kits, and there were a lot of new vapors that wound up with rebuildable atomizers. I would have rather had a better targeted way to give that away, but I can tell you it's not rigged. Random's random. Worst mod and addy ever made. Ooh, this is a good one. As far as the mod, it has a very sentimental place in my heart, but way back in the day, I had a mod called the Avali V8. And when people were asking me to build Genesis atomizers for them, one of the tests was to see if they could put the batteries in the Avali V8. Yeah, so that was pretty much the worst mod ever made. As far as the worst atomizer ever made, this is going to be another huge throwback. Phoenix A7 clone, about 50% of them came without air holes. So, yeah. What do you think about these mods coming out with built-in batteries, such as the eVic VT? And do you think the manufacturers will go down this route more eventually? I actually am a huge fan of lithium polybags. Lithium polybags, the chemistry in there is capable of much, much more than what dry cells are. I do think more manufacturers are going to go that route. The only downside to it is it pretty much dictates that you have to have two mods, so this one can charge while you're vaping this one and vice versa. Have you heard or tried Playboy Vixen coils in a Triton, Star, Hercules, etc.? I have not. I'm sorry. What is the worst juice you've ever tried? That would be Bruce Juice by Atomic Vapor. Yeah, I have a review of that. Straight up cologne. It tastes like I licked the stripper. What about wickless coils that work as well as wick tanks, RBAs, not like vertebrae, good for rips? Do you see that happening? There are wickless stuff like the vertebrae and stuff like that. I even have a crazy twisted thing that'll work. I do not see that becoming a mainstream thing. What do you think of Ready Random? Ready Random is actually a really great tool that gives a lot of flexibility to broadcasters, and it's random. Cartel Addy sucks. I can agree there. Have you ever tried the Vaping Donut ceramic coils? Rip Tripper did a review on it. I did, and I immediately addressed my concerns with it. The flavor wasn't as great as I would have liked. For the people that could safely use them, it was a waste. For the people that would get benefit out of not having to build, they couldn't safely use them. What's the difference between parallel and series? Series doubles your voltage. Parallel doubles your amperage. Opinion on $300 plus non-regulated mods. Why? The main reason for vaping is to quit smoking. $300 plus non-regulated mods, unless you're a collector. I have a Juggernaut that I don't take out of the house because it's too valuable. What would you suggest a viewer to do if a host says using 18650s from a laptop battery are okay? Help better educate him on the proper amperage of that, because most laptop batteries are only 2 amp batteries. I went on Mod Envy 2 months ago. How long do I wait before I contact somebody about this, and who do I contact? You would contact Smokey. Generally, about a month is when you would hit Smokey up. Concerns about counterfeiting of batteries. What can we do about this type of scumbaggery in the community? There are a lot of counterfeit batteries. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do. Try to only buy from a trusted vendor is the best answer there. If you could change one thing about Vapors TV, what would it be? I would actually make it integrate better with YouTube. What's your best pickup line? Best pickup line is, "Hi, my name's Walter. Can I sit here?" That's honestly the only pickup line that really works for me. Top 3 shows, aside from the ones that you're on, that you watch or try to watch on Vapors TV. I actually really enjoy watching Jammies with Juice, which is a late night super chill show. I really enjoy watching. I'm going through them in my head. Sorry. All the shows I like watching, by the way, are not like content-based shows, so I apologize about that. They're also not giveaway shows. X Shelly X over on Coast to Coast Vapors does a morning, like, wake up request music show. I like going in for the conversation on that one, and I like popping in on Three Dogs Show because it's a super chill environment. How are the MXJO 2800 mAh batteries? I have not tried them yet, but the yellow 2500s are nice from MXJO. They're my favorite for regulated devices. Do I like raisins? No, I do not like raisins. Do you like Canadian shows on Vapors TV? I'm going to be honest here. I try my best to watch some Canadian shows. I lose interest in them. It all turns to white noise to me, and that sounds horrible, but I'm answering it honestly. This isn't Ask Me Anything. Are switchable series parallel mods a good thing or unsafe trouble waiting to happen? They're unsafe trouble waiting to happen. Is it a case of hybrid caps? Okay. The problem with the switchable mods is batteries go in like this if it's parallel. Batteries go in like this if it's series. If you flip that switch, you blow your MOSFET. Best up-and-coming host on Vapors TV would actually sorry Aries, it would probably be Nathan. He's covering an unfilled niche on Vapors TV, which is the midday spot. His learning how to interact with a smaller audience yet keep chat running. Do you like prunes? No, I do not like prunes. Frozen yogurt or frozen custard? Frozen custard. Best advice for finding love through Vapors.tv. Don't. Go out. Look somewhere else. If you're finding love through Vapors TV, hashtag doing it wrong. Okay? I have not watched Trailer Park Boys. Nathan is X something. What do you think of Tiger and Joe? Tiger's super sweet. Joe definitely puts up a front, and once you get to know him, he's actually a really cool guy. Is tobacco e-juice as bad as smoking tobacco? No, it's not. Room for more Scottish people on Vapors TV. Yes, there's room for Scottish people on Vapors TV. I actually enjoy Vic. Vapor Joe can be a dick. I'm not going to lie. He can be a dick. Most times he's a nice guy. Normally he's not a dick. Oh, you meant Tiger and Joe, them finally getting together? Good on him, you know. they're allowed to be happy. I'm living a long-distance relationship right now, and they do work out. They can work out. What do I think about some companies moving to eggplant-based nicotine? I think it's nice to have a viable alternative. I do think that it's kind of putting the cart before the horse, though. Do you ever get bored of vaping? Do I get bored of talking about vaping 24/7? Yes, I do. That's where the bad pickup lines came from when I ran out of vaping content to talk about after, 16 hours? Yeah, so I do get bored of it. I love what I do. I wouldn't be on here right now if I didn't love it, though. So it's like anything that's a hobby. You're going to have days where you're not enjoying it. But overall, I go by the 80% rule. If I'm enjoying it 80% of the time, it's right for me. Is tobacco e-juice bad for you? Tobacco e-juice is just a different flavoring. It's the same stuff as in every other e-liquid, so it's no better or worse for you than any other e-liquid. What do you think of proper steeping times for a good custard? A good custard, I believe, 3 to 6 days it should be vapable. What is your best advice for a new vapor? Don't try to get tricked into what's trendy. Go with something that simply works. A good example of that would be the Sigelli 150. It's cheap enough. It will grow with you. It works. It's proven. Do you have nicotine in your e-liquid? If yes, what milligram? In the Swagger box, I have 3 milligram. This chocolate mint is actually a 0 right now. Are you balding? Yes, I've had a receding hairline since I was 18. It is in the front, not in the back. I still have a full head of hair back here. It's just up here. It's saying I'm going away. Does it make you irked when you convert a new vapor and 2 weeks later they're on cigs again? No, that does not bother me. I look at it like this. Every cigarette you don't smoke is winning. It's tobacco harm reduction, not elimination. Hybrid mech caps. Would the world be a better place without them, given that people are using them without knowledge? But they're great if you know what you're doing. Hybrid mech caps, I'm fine with. They're a piece of metal. How's the juice line selling? A little slow, to be honest with you. Is your goatee the only hair you color? Yes, the goatee is the only hair I color. What do you feel is the best mod massively available in today's market? The Sigelli 150. What is the worst health-wise ingredient that some juice makers use? I have to think here. When they were adding titanium dioxide to liquid was pretty bad. They've discontinued that practice. After that, it would probably be straight up, there are people that will use like butter, which is extremely high amount of diacetyl. I made some tobacco e-juice from glycerin and chewing tobacco that I think is bad for you. If you don't do proper extraction techniques, it can be pretty bad for you. What's the worst thing you can do in vaping is chase all the latest devices, find a device which works, and stick with it. Exactly. How many subscribers are you hoping to hit now? Well, my next milestone will be 3,000. How did you get turned onto vaping? Note, I did not say turned on by vaping. What happened is I worked for a bank, and they were tripling health insurance costs for anybody that was a smoker. I had found out that if you did a tobacco elimination thing, whether you successfully stop smoking or not, that your health insurance stayed the same price. So I signed up for it, and I found out that if you weren't doing anything, they were going to give you the patch. Now, when I tried the patch, it made me irritable, it made me itch, it burned, it didn't work. So I went out and bought an e-cig with full intentions of going back to smoking as soon as I was done this 6-week course, and I just never stopped vaping. Is there a tank that doesn't leak? No. Is there really a nitro juice line, or was that a gag question? There really is a nitro juice line. In fact, I have two. The crown will leak. Every tank will leak. It's a matter of how hard it is. The Tobacco Super Tank, the Sense Hydra, the Crown, the Hercules don't leak real bad. They take a lot of stuff to make them leak. Tanks are RDAs, regulated or unregulated. I'll vape about anything, but I much prefer RDAs, and I prefer unregulated. The Crown is a tank made by UL. How do we avoid dangerous flavorings given that they are from food and may be safe there? Unfortunately, until there's regulations, we can't. Many juice vendors will contact. So, for example, this is a flavoring sheet from Cabela's, and it's color-coded by which ones are tested for inhalation and which ones are not. So, go with somebody you trust. Where can I find Nitro Juice, and what are the flavors? Nitro Juice can be found at MadCat Vapors. It's the N Series line. That was the first one. It's a 9010. I'm hands-off on that one. That's mixed in MadCat's lab. The one that I'm hands-on in is Swagger Clouds, and it can be found at www.swaggervapors.com. What's the worst juice you've tried from any vapors on vapors.tv? Ooh. I'm going through the list in my head, I'm sorry. I don't know if they're still on Vapors TV, but Mushroom Vapes was on for a while. While they had many good juices, there was one that was absolutely horrible. It was a grape. I forget the name of it. In my opinion, what's the best sub-ohm tank? Tobacco Super Tank. Do you foresee vaping becoming bigger than smoking realistically? Yes, I do. Do I recommend Cabela's for DIYers, or who else? To start off DIYing, I actually recommend TFA. Reason being, Cabela's is much more expensive for when you're starting off. Now, once you've been DIYing and have the base concepts down, you're going to want to get from many different flavor manufacturers. Cabela's is one of the mainstays, especially for people that like desserts and custards. Super tank will leak. Does it leak often? No. Any tank will leak. How long before vaping overtakes traditional cigarettes? Probably 15-20 years, to be honest. What about suspect ceramic wicking in a super tank that caused it such fuss with an Atlantis? I'm not sure. I don't run the Atlantis. How long before Linux overtakes Windows and Mac? It won't, unfortunately, and I apologize about that. What is the worst thing FDA can do as far as regulations can do for vaping? The worst thing they can do is what they're doing right now, which is absolutely nothing. They're letting us fight ourselves. and they're letting the states go in and divide and conquer. That's the worst thing that the FDA can do, is nothing. Would we possibly know the person you're... Hope. I've talked about her on a couple shows. What are your pet peeves? Like, in general, my biggest pet peeve is, like, outwardly people, after they've been proven wrong, still lying to your face. That is my biggest pet peeve. Who's your least favorite regular at VU Live? God, y'all are not going easy on me on this one.
Sorry, I'm good to delay on this question for a second.
It would actually be a guy that his name starts with Vic. That's not a host. What do you mean by Will Link? Okay, so this is the goblin. I just made it leak out the air holes. All tanks will leak. If there's a path to the outside, it will leak. Five of my friends now vape. I got them started, never started anybody on cigarettes. Congrats. If you weren't broadcasting, what would you be doing with that time? Watching YouTube? Sleeping? I'd probably sleep a lot more and actually be subscribed to even more channels on YouTube. What's my highest academic qualifications? An Associates of Science in Computer Science. What do you think about minors possibly bypassing the laws and by buying, attempting to buy online? Minors will always try to get access to stuff they're not supposed to have access to. Do you think that vaping will reach prohibition, like responses from the government, and in that will become legal for fully regulated? Like, I see what's going on now as people trying to attack on a state-by-state basis. On a state-by-state basis, they're taking down vaping. I don't think there'll be a full-out federal prohibition, but there's going to be a lot changing over the states. Why would I intentionally make my tank leak? To show you that anything can leak. Just the changing in the atmospheric pressure will do what it did by me blowing through it, but that was a quick way to demonstrate that any tank will leak. Favorite non-vaping YouTube channel? Emma Blackery out of the UK, surprisingly enough. Favorite food and drink? My favorite food is tacos. My favorite drink is RC Cola. Have a good night, No Saints. What is your favorite coffee? I don't drink a lot of coffee, and when I do, it's really, really crap brewed coffees. I like something called a caramel ripple. So would you recommend getting involved in YouTube, or is it too late as vape reviews saturation? Your vlog showed just how much work was involved and you were shocked. I say do what you want to do. If you're trying to get into YouTube to make money, put that idea out of your head. If you do it because you enjoy it, it is a great, great way to reach many people. Thanks, Jay. What do I think about some states pushing for 21 minimum to smoke/vape? I'm actually okay with that, and here's why. The reason that the legal drinking age is set to 21 is they know that 18-year-olds will be able to get their hands on it. The reason that currently legal smoking ages are set to 16 is they know 13-year-olds will be able to get their hands on it. So by that mentality, if they set it to 21, that means in actuality they're expecting 18 to be the minimum smoking/vaping age. I'm okay with that. I don't know what brown wigs are. You'll have to clarify on that one. Do I drink whiskey occasionally? I actually prefer Irish creams. The questions are finally slowing down. This is going to be a long vlog, guys. Sorry. You've earned it, though. The dumbest thing I've done when I was intoxicated, and I do not recall it, I got told the story later, is I beat up 4 bouncers and had a 5'2" chick pull me out of the fight and calm me down. Guinness. I don't drink a lot of beer, but I do cook with alcohol often. Ever smoke crack? No? Why not? Because it's not my thing. Do I think FDA will require MSDS sheets for e-liquid? No, they've even actually moved away from MSDS sheets. They call it something new. I do think that they will eventually require testing on liquid. How do I know crack isn't my thing? I've seen people take it, and I'm normally not into anything other than a mild stimulant, such as nicotine or caffeine. I'm not into stimulants. I'm not Canadian. What is my biggest fear? Bridges over water. I'm not afraid of bridges. I'm not afraid of water. I am specifically afraid of bridges over water. Why do I keep bypassing your question? If you could send one and only one positive message to future vapors, what would it be? Love each other. Stop fighting with each other. Sorry, I missed it, Aries. "47-minute long vlog." I think 47 minutes of me rapid fire answering questions, and they've finally wore down. What does vaping mean to me on a personal level? Vaping is part of who I am. It's not what I am. Vaping to me on a personal level is just lifestyle choice. It is what it means to me is I have a way of potentially prolonging my life without having to give up the comfort I get out of nicotine. What is my biggest goal? To get married and be happy. What's the worst vaping related purchase you've ever made? The Clone Cherry Bomber. Are you anti other drugs apart from nicotine and alcohol legalization? I personally am pretty straight edge. I do nicotine and alcohol, and that's it. And I finally got cut off. Last question I see here is, I thought you used animal PJs to extend. I don't use animal PJs.
So my internet has gone down.
This has been the Ask Me Anything with Nitro. I apologize that my internet crashed. I'm going to try to get that back. And yeah, I'll see you again tomorrow, guys. Thanks for 2,000 subs.